What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Moonbuilt Garage, and welcome to part 2 of the custom dash build for the D100 here. In part 1, I built a wire frame for the dash. Actually, it's right here. And today, I'm going to be starting to try to figure out the actual mounting for the gauge panel and trying to figure out the glove box door. That's going to be the tricky one. That's going to be a little difficult, I think. But let's just get into it. So I spent some of the time off camera beefing up some of the welds, cleaning up some of the welds, and I also added, right along the inside edge here, I added some 1/8 TIG rod. It runs all along the inside edge here. And that was just to beef up this edge. Because my plan, and here I've already kind of started, my plan is I took some 22 gauge and I bent it in the brake, and then I took it over to the shrinker stretcher over there, and I started forming it up so that what I'm going to be able to do here is set it right inside this edge and weld it along the front, and this will give me the backing I need to house or to hold. I can screw the gauge panel into this flange right here. So I'm just working on the fitment of this piece here. Obviously it's not long enough, so I need to make the other piece here, and I need to make one that goes along the bottom that comes up basically like that. Again, that'll give me a flange that I can then screw the gauge panel into. So that's what I'm working on right now. All right, guys, so there is the first part of my gauge panel support. I just took some 22 gauge sheet metal, cut it into strips, bent a 90 in the brake, and then I worked it on the shrinker stretcher until it fit the profile of the opening. Tack welded it into place, and now I'll be able to take a piece of sheet metal. This is my template for my gauge panel. Now this, I'll be able to drop down in there. I'll be able to screw through the front of it to that flange, and that'll be my recessed gauge panel. So now I just got to work on the bottom support. Now that I've got pretty much the entire gauge cluster enclosure area done, I mean, there's still cleanup that needs to be done, maybe some more welding, but overall the structure is finished. What I want to do now is turn my attention to the glove box. So obviously I need to have access to the glove box, but I also need to have access to my fuse panel. Now, the old glove box door was pretty much this whole area, and it opened this way. Not a fan of that. So I want to make it so that it opens this way, but I don't think it needs to be, you know, from here all the way to the A-pillar. So I'm thinking I'm gonna just go most of the way, probably end it at this arch or this bow right here, go all the way from this bow to this bow and make it so it opens this way. So I think what I'm gonna do is something similar to what I did here. I'm gonna take some sheet metal and I'm gonna bend it and then use the shrinker to get the correct shape and then have it go pretty much from the top of these supports down to this bracket I made here to bolt the dash down. And that'll give me the support for this, for the rear part of the dash here. It'll give me a place to put a hinge all along there and figure out how exactly I'm gonna do this, because there's a slight bow to this here, kind of this way. So I don't know if I'm gonna try to incorporate that, probably not, just because trying to hinge that will be difficult. Impossible, really, for, yeah. So I think I'm gonna just figure out a way to do it straight across most of the way. But what I'm also gonna do is leave these bows intact. So I'm gonna have to cut them, slip in a piece here, but I wanna leave these parts of the bows intact, because what I'm gonna do is when I skin it, I'll just skin the whole thing, and then these will be easily removed, but that'll give me the shape for the actual glove box door. And it'll blend a lot better rather than trying to shape the dash and then shape the door separately. If I just skin it all at the same time, then I can cut the door out basically, and that'll leave me with the opening and leave me with a door that's already the right shape, if that makes sense. I'm thinking out loud as I'm recording this, so bear with me, guys. I know I'm kind of rambling. Like I said, I'm literally thinking out loud right now. I don't have any idea exactly how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to start with this back piece. Let's get that done first, and we'll go from there. So I need a piece of sheet metal that's 22 inches long, and I need to make sure that I can go from this cross piece and that it's tall enough, so that's like 1.25 inches. I need to find the highest one, because the rest of it I can trim down. 1.25 inches, a little less, 1 3/16, an inch, 1.25 inches or so. So 1.25 inches for the height and maybe another inch back. So I cut a strip at 2.25, maybe a little long, because like I said, I can trim the bottom once I get this shape. Yeah, let's do that. All right, there we go, guys. So I got the back piece completed. Give me a good mounting point for the hinges, or hinge, depending on how I want to do this. I think I got something figured out. We'll see how that turns out. For the sides, I wanted to enclose the sides. I didn't want to have it open to under the dash when you had the glove box open. So I made these pieces on the sides here. Originally I was thinking about just doing it out of sheet metal, but I had some of this ABS plastic lying around. So I made, you know, a template out of chipboard, cut it out of the ABS, and then I just crazy glued it together, CA glue, and tacked it into place here basically. This will get bonded to the sheet or to the skin once that's done. We'll see how it turns out. It should be okay. Who knows? We'll see. It's an experiment. Also, I had to make a relief cut right here. I had some bowing going on with this front piece. This side was wanting to curl up a little bit, and I think it just warped a little bit from some of the welding. So I just made a relief cut here with a body saw, and I got to tack this together. I got this wedged up just to force the opening open a little bit more, so that hopefully minimize shrinkage when I weld this up. But I got to do that. I got some more weld cleanup to do. I got, you know, these spots here need to get sanded down, and just general cleanup before I skin this thing. There you go, guys. Like I said, I still got some little bit of work to do here and there. Got to weld up that relief cut, do some other cleanup stuff. Nothing important. You're not going to miss much. But yeah, part 2 of this custom dash build for the D100 is pretty much done. Appreciate you guys for watching. Hit that subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you in the next one. Next one, we're going to be skinning this thing.